Okay, in case you're following me, I'm on my way to Nashville and thought I would video any of these storms that are moving into Middle Tennessee. So you're just along for the ride. Won't have a lot of commentary on it unless there's something significant that I see. So there's some pretty significant storms that are coming from the west, from West Tennessee into Middle Tennessee right now. And they're pretty much forming a line. There are a few storms that are out ahead of the others. Pretty much stretching in a line from just north of Nashville all the way back down towards Lawrenceburg. Like I said, with a few cells that are out in front. Assume that I'm live, but public. I know I'm live, I just don't know if I'm public. Sure if I'll get through this light. Fixing to get on Interstate 24.
In a quarter mile, turn left.
Pause my travel map here. I had to pause the travel app. Now you can start to see some of the clouds from the storms that are moving in from the west, headed up on Interstate 24 toward Nashville. I know that once I get close to Nashville, I'm going to run into some of the heavy rain. So hopefully I'm able to get through. We'll see. So far, it looks like some severe thunderstorm warnings from Columbia, Lewisburg, up towards Eagleville. Maybe it's a little bit getting into Murfreesboro. I suspect that'll probably be continued over in Murfreesboro as that line moves closer. And then there's another severe thunderstorm warning down by Pulaski and over by Lawrenceburg. So those are all to my west from where I'm at right now. And they're kind of moving to the north, or to the west, northwest. There's also some coming out of the northern Alabama region towards Tullahoma way also, so keep an eye out for those. Again, I'm on Interstate 24, headed up towards Nashville. Just doing a live stream. Of some of the severe thunderstorms. I think from what I understand, the tornado risk is on the low end. The hail and high winds are on the moderate. So, not to say there could not be a brief tornado, but the risk for that is on the lower end. If you're in Tullahoma, I would be watching out for what is below Tullahoma coming out of North Alabama. If you look at any radar, you'll see a storm there coming around Huntland area. That looks like that may move up close towards Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Estill Springs. So just keep an eye out for that one. Get to a place where I can get a little bit of a clearing to my west. I'll show you to my west. It looks like the more severe is to my west, to my left, as you're looking on camera. Starting to see a few lowerings under the clouds, potentially forming some wall clouds. So noticing on radar a little bit of rotation in a storm that's north of Shelbyville, heading towards Bell Buckle, Christiana area. I'm not sure if it may be that lowering off to the left there, almost straight in front of me, that's got some rotation with it. That probably is what I'm seeing on radar. Let's see. There's a ridge just left here. No, it's got to be more to the left than behind the trees over here. I don't like chasing in Middle Tennessee, and this is the reason why. Trees and hills. But I'm on my way to Nashville anyway, so I thought I would live stream. I'm seeing on the rotation on the radar is a storm over here to my left, which is difficult to see. I don't think it's going to come quite into frame on the video here. But it's showing some tighter rotation with it. Vehicle passing me, and then maybe show you to the left here. Alright, let's try and see what we can get here. So this is the storm that's on radar that's showing some rotation. You can see some lowering over there. Everything is just so far behind the mountains over there, the hills, that it's harder to see. That is what is to my west. That is probably the only storm that I've seen on radar that has any significant rotation of any kind right now. Don't think anything's on the ground. And again, this is why I don't like chasing in Middle Tennessee. Yeah, it's getting real low way back in there. I don't know that I will have a clear shot of anything from the interstate here. So that storm now has a severe weather statement. If I had time, I would get off the interstate and find a better vantage point. Radar still indicates strong rotation over there. Should put a mount on my side window so I could leave my phone there. Coming up here, I think it's to the Epps Mill Road where the Loves is, and that's about where I'm at. That's where the storm is, barely to my west. Wish I had time to stop right here. This would probably be the best vantage point, or back over on 41 to be able to see it. Okay, now maybe you can see something. Got a little break in the trees right here. Looks like it's trying to form a wall cloud there, but that's about it. All I can see for now. So back we go to the front. Looks like the rotation is spreading a little bit, so maybe weakening some. And the storm that's down by between Huntland and Fayetteville seems like it's still moving on a trajectory towards Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Estill Springs area. So thanks for joining. I'm on Interstate 24, headed towards Nashville. Just did some video of the storm that was to my west when I passed the Epps Mill Road exit where the Loves is, before you get to Murfreesboro. It had some rotation in it, but looks like that's weakening some now. There is a storm coming out of North Alabama around Huntland, Tennessee, toward Fayetteville, and that's moving towards Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Estill Springs way. So keep your eyes out for that. Strong storms are going to be coming through later this afternoon. So anything you can do to spread the word, go to my social media on Stormin Norman Weather and share the National Weather Service out of Nashville's Facebook post there. We we are in a level 3 out of 5 for severe storms. Although the tornado outlook is probably on the lower end, hail and strong winds are on the moderate side, almost high. So there will be some strong storms coming through. Storms are strongish towards Nashville. Probably the strongest right now was that one that was close to Christiana. Out from the Love's exit. I'm at Joby Jackson right now. The closer I get to Smyrna, Antioch, Nashville, I'll hit some of the heavier stuff. It's kind of draped in a line back towards Lawrenceburg, from Nashville back down to there to Pulaski area. So it's moved a little bit more to the east now from Lawrenceburg, closer to Pulaski. Looks like the strongest storms are pretty close to 65. So, but you should be getting a special weather statement if you're at Tullahoma very shortly for the storm that's moving up from Huntland. I would say the risk there is probably mostly hail, strong winds, light risk of tornado. Need to come up with a logo for Stormin Norman weather. Would like to probably have a tornado in it. Y'all have some suggestions? Make those in the comments. think if I hit 840 up here over, I should slide right between the storms. Looks like it's pretty strong towards Laverne, and I don't want to be caught on the interstate in those heavy storms. Saw a clearing to my west, and radar seems to indicate that I could slip through a lighter spot. Because the storms up here by Nashville have already crossed 65, and they're directly in front of me. The strongest are up around just north of Laverne. Looks like there could be hail. The one behind me is also increasing with intensity on the reflexivity radar. Not so tight on the velocity, which it shows the rotation. This one ahead of me does show some rotation just to the north of Laverne. So I don't want to get caught in that. So I'm planning to turn up here on 840 and head to the west to slip through a small gap of the less intense storms and then be on the backside of the storms. Looks like some rotation could be intensifying up by Laverne. Starting to see some scuds. I don't know if you can see the one that's kind of off to the right of the interstate up here. That white truck kind of blocked out of it. So when I turn on the interstate here, we're going to be headed directly towards the line of storms. But as I said, the intensity, I'm hoping to slip through a small gap in the storms. To pay attention. So if I were chasing, I would have taken 840 east to get out ahead of the storms. There are a lot of areas over that way towards Lebanon, Mount Juliet, that you can see a good distance. But I'm headed to Nashville, so hoping to stay right in this little sliver threading the needle so I don't have to go into the heavy, because it looks like some hail up ahead at Laverne. So you may get a glimpse of the storm here in just a moment back towards to the south of Murfreesboro. Looks like it's being rain wrapped back in there. Yeah, it should be right in that area. There was some rotation there earlier, but not seeing as strong as it was on radar. Again, if you're in Tullahoma, Watch out for the storm that's coming from towards Huntland, Fayetteville way. That's moving almost on a direct path towards Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Estill Springs from the south west to the northeast. So this is 840. It makes a big, for those who don't know, makes a big loop around the southern side of Nashville. So I should have some rain maybe that I will go through up here. Got one that's increasing just a little here to my west. Now up around Nolensville to Laverne, there is some rotation in that storm. I don't see the one that I see increasing on radar ahead of me. So I may just run into some heavy rain, maybe a little light hail before I get to 65. That I'm seeing right ahead of me is the one that there's a potential little bit of hail right there. There is a small tiny gap where it's hugging Interstate 40. Not sure if I can slip through or not. Expecting to see a tornado today, at least for me, because I'm trying to avoid them. Don't like chasing in Tennessee. What you see on the sides here is the reason why. Because I don't like the hills and I don't like the trees. If I can get to a place where I can see across open fields, yes, I'll chase. So this is Interstate 840 going towards Interstate 65 to the interchange there, and then I'll head north into Nashville from there. I just thought I would stream while I'm on my way. Let's see where we are. So if you're noticing the white area on the outer edge of these dark clouds that are directly in the middle of my camera, those white clouds to the left there, or that whiteness in the clouds, I should say, that's the area that there's potential hail with these storms. It looks like it's decreased just a smidge, so maybe it'll continue to decrease and won't be that bad at all. just streaming as I'm on my way to Nashville to kind of show some of the storms that are coming through. But again, if you're in Tullahoma, be aware that there's a storm coming up from the southwest, that's headed towards Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Estill Springs way. That is diminished some, but there is a small part of it that is still pretty intense. That part's close to Lynchburg. They just issued the severe thunderstorm warning coming close to Tullahoma there. Not quite yet to Tullahoma, but I would expect them to issue the special weather statement for Tullahoma that would include Tullahoma, Normandy, possibly Shelbyville, but more Normandy. So I think they'll expand that one a little bit further for the special weather statement. I need to learn more about my iPhone to see if I can shut off autofocus. Because it does that every time focuses on the raindrops. Let's get back to where we are. Yeah, so we're headed right into this heavy little blast shower on the back end of the system moving through. But a lot lighter than what was ahead of me toward Laverne. It's going to get a little heavier, just a little. Should be shortly breaking through to the lighter stuff here in the next 4 to 5 minutes at the most. begin to see clouds showing up more and more. Better to go through what that was than the more severe that was up by Antioch. So this is, if you just joined, I'm on Interstate 840, headed towards Interstate 65, and then north into Nashville. I say I was. But I see they've had some incidents up here, probably with the storm when it came through here originally.